In this video, I will introduce you to the parking lot in WeekPlan. To access the parking lot, you click on the top right button called Parking Lot, and this will take you away from the Week view and will show you a list of tasks. And the concept of the parking lot is basically you want to dump every tasks, everything that you think about in a trusted system. And this comes from the book Getting Things Done from David Allen, which I recommend you to read. And in the book, it tells you that to relieve some of the stress that you have in your work, in your life, you need to get rid of all these tasks that keep nagging you all the time. When you're in the shower, when you wake up, when you're idle in the bus or waiting for someone, constantly this task, your mind's job will be to remind you of these tasks if it believes that there's no other place where you're storing them. As soon as you start using a system where you're storing all these tasks and you trust the system to be able to store these tasks, that's very important. If your mind doesn't trust the system, it will keep nagging you even though you've written them down. So if the moment you have a trusted system and you've dumped all these tasks into that trusted system, your mind will free you from all this nagging, and you'll feel really an immediate relief. So what I advise people when they start on WeekPlan is actually to do a brain dump, to go through all the areas of their lives, all the things that they do, all the activities, everything, all their friends, everything they can think of, and try to list all the tasks associated to these topics. And like for me, my parking lot, the sum of all my parking lots, sorry, I get 400 tasks. I've got 400 tasks in all my parking lots. So I don't filter my parking lot. I'm not saying, oh, this is not important enough, or no, I'll never get to do that anytime soon. The goal is really just dump everything, whatever you can think of, as soon as possible. And you'll be able to review these parking lot and the list that you've created over time and prioritize them and then start accomplishing them. But first, it's very important to have them stored somewhere to free your mind from that aspect of time management, which is reminding you that these items should be done at some point. So some of the lists that you can be using in the parking lot, there are a few that are suggested already when you create your new account, like I think gift ideas, book to read, and bucket list. The bucket list is, if you're not familiar with it, is a list of all the things that you like to do before you die. And there's a movie about it, and it's a great concept to keep dreaming, basically, on not in a pejorative way, like, yeah, keep dreaming, right, you'll never do them. No, more keep dreaming, like keep connecting with your dreams and envision what it would mean to be fulfilled at the end of your life. So it is actually quite an important list to complete, and probably not the easiest, because if you've lost connection with your own dreams and what you want to achieve, what you want to do, you'll find that it's actually quite hard to figure out what you like to do before you die. And that's why this bucket list is sometimes something that you build over time by meeting other people who have done some items that you'd like to accomplish yourself, and or inspire you to do something else. So that's the bucket list. Books to read, gift ideas. This is I don't need to explain them. Other things that you can store in the parking lot are personal projects that you may have. So for example, I store a list. I create a list for each personal project that I have. So I would click on this add list button, and the form asking for a name of the list. So let's say that I want to go do a trip around the world, and I need to organize that. And here the second field is what new task should be assigned to. So every time I will add a new task in that list, it will also automatically assign a role to it. I don't have to, but it's a nice feature. So in my case, if the list is trip around the world, then probably self is the best role to assign to. And once it's created, I can add new tasks like I do on a normal day. So a trip around the world will be create a list of countries to visit, review right seasons to visit these countries, etc., etc. And I would have a list for all my personal projects, like learn to play guitar and all the steps that I would take to accomplish that. So now let's say that I've dumped all the tasks that I had in my mind related to all my roles, all my goals, really everything I could think of is now in my parking lot. Now, regularly, I would go in my parking lot and review this list and see what I can take from this list and schedule in my week. So maybe this week actually I want to work on creating a list of countries I'd like to visit. So you'll notice actually that this task is not great because it's very generic. Like how do you come up with a list of countries? Like you probably want to go see a travel agent, so I would want to be a bit more specific, but that's not the objective of this video on how to be more specific with your task. I might do one later. So here there's in the middle there's a button called Promote to Today. So I would click on that, and what that does is that it sends my task in my week schedule. So here on Tuesday you can see that I have that task scheduled. If I'm not happy with the date, I can either drag and drop it somewhere else, or I can change the date here in the Move To area. And if this was a mistake and I decide to do that later, I can click on this demote to someday, and that will tell me where I want to send the task. So I want to put it back in trip around the world. And that's it. That's the concept of the parking lot. What's really important to understand is that you shouldn't filter yourself when you add tasks in there. You want as many tasks as you can think of, and then slowly review, clean up, and more importantly, prioritize so that you know what really should be worked on next. Thank you very much for listening to this video, and see you soon.